Hi, this is a video for teachers. This video will help you get started with Students Clean the School in your own classroom. The first thing you'll need is a list of supplies, and these could vary depending on the context of your classroom, but what we recommend is that, number one, you have a bunch of rags for students to clean with. Now, these can be donated actual rags, or they can be old t-shirts that students bring in, or other people bring in, friends and family. Whoever you know that you could possibly bring in some old t-shirts, and those can be cut up. So those are just some ideas, but you definitely need a bunch of rags. Safe to say that you would need one for each student, and throughout the school year we might need to have more come in throughout the school year. The other thing you'll need are 6 buckets. Ideally 3 would be smaller and 3 bigger, and that way students can know that the smaller one specifically has soapy water and the bigger bucket just has plain water to rinse with. So it's ideal to have buckets of 2 different sizes just so students can easily differentiate. So you'll have 4 total groups of students, each doing a different task, but 3 of them will be cleaning at the same time at the end of the day. The 4th one is a lunch and flex group, so they will not need a bucket. So that's why there's only 6 buckets needed. So each group gets 2 buckets, so you'll have 3 groups. And again, each of them have 2 buckets, the small one with soapy water and the big one with clean water. So that's why you only need 6 buckets for your whole entire class. The other thing you'll need is some kind of soap that is safe for kids, and you should get at least 3 different bottles of that, but of course, over time you're going to run out, so you might want to get a bunch more. But again, hopefully you can get these donated for you. The last thing you'll need is 6 brooms and 6 dustpans, and that's because 2 of the groups are responsible for cleaning the floors, so each one of them will get 3 brooms and 3 dustpans for each one of those groups. So now for the groups. You're going to have 4 total groups in your class. So you're going to split up all of your students into one of each of the 4 groups. Now I will say that depending on the logistics of your school, depending on your context of your classroom, this might change. So if this changes, that's no problem, but we're going to recommend in general that you would have 4 groups. Those groups are as followed. First, you're going to have a group that cleans the inside floors of the classroom. You're going to also have a group that cleans the inside furniture of the classroom. You're going to have a group that cleans the outside floors. And finally, there will be a group that is responsible for cleaning the lunchroom, and that will have flexible time when everybody else is cleaning. Just remember that the first 3 groups are going to be cleaning their responsibilities at the end of the day, those last 15 minutes that your school set aside for the whole school to clean. The 4th group has their cleaning actually during lunchtime, which is almost definitely going to be different than at the end of the day. We don't want that 4th group just sitting around at the end of the day though, so we call it flex time. And that group during the end of the day cleaning duties, those 15 minutes that your school is designated for everybody to clean, that 4th group will have flex time where they go around and try to basically address anything that they can see that might help the classroom, and they can kind of be creative in how they might help the classroom clean up, of course under your supervision as a teacher. Some ideas for flex time could be that have students clean up the classroom library. Could also be for students to clean the walls potentially, because nobody else has that specific job. They can also help initially in picking up trash off the floor before the floors start to get cleaned. Let's say there's a day where the floor is really like a lot of mess all over the place. They can definitely on those kind of days help out, and before the floors even start to get cleaned or swept, there might just be a lot of stuff on the floor that needs to be picked up. Again, they can help out with those kind of things. Now the other thing is you can use that flex time though for you as a teacher to say, hey, I need the flex group today to do X. So if you want something specific done, feel free to use that time for that flex group to get that done. So again, you're splitting your class into 4 groups. Now each week, those groups are going to rotate. So at the start of a new week, we rotate groups, and each group is now going to have a new task for that week. And we'll do that 4 rotations, and then finally you'll be back to your first rotation or your first task as a student group. So to introduce this program with your students, first you might want to show them the overview video on the website. That's a good place to start. After that, you're going to want to tell them their groups, and you're going to want to make sure they know not only their group, but what role they have for the very first week of the program. Tell them which role so they know exactly what they're looking for. At that point, you can show them all 4 instructional videos. And because they already know their role for that week, they'll be looking especially for the instructional video that pertains to them. So they'll watch the video and hopefully they'll get a clear understanding and actually be able to see what their role is going to look like for that week. Now, if you want to set up additional live demonstrations, feel free to do that, especially for younger grades. That might be necessary to set up some live demonstrations in addition to the videos. But the videos do serve as a good starting point. At the start of the second week in the program, as the students are transitioning to their new role, that might be a time to again show all 4 videos again and make it clear to the students again which role they're going to have for the second new week. You might want to do that for all the 4 first weeks of the program. So as they go to the third week, you'll show them the videos all again. And as they go to the fourth week, they'll rotate one more time and you'll show the videos all one more time. Finally, by the 5th week, they'll be transitioning back into their very first role. At that point, it's possible, depending on your context, your grade, that you would need to show additional videos, but hopefully the students have learned after having a week at each of the roles. So hopefully by the 5th week, things are starting to work like clockwork and the students really understand what each of the roles entails. The exciting thing about this is that when you get to the second year of this program, students should have already had the whole year before of the program, and they should already know what's expected. So by the time of the second year, you should need a lot less upfront training for the students. One other thing that teachers need to coordinate is the cleaning of the outside floors. So obviously you're going to want to clean outside your classroom, but the question is up to what point? And that's a great thing to just talk to the teacher that's next door to you and find a point in the hall that you can really identify. Not only you as teachers, but students can also identify that point as the point that sections off the difference between where we clean and where the other class cleans. So as a former teacher, I know that we don't like to have a lot of stuff piled on us, but this is something that has a quick upfront investment and after hopefully a month is running like clockwork. And the exciting thing about that is once it gets to be running like clockwork, you can just step back and watch the students take off and take responsibility for their own school. That's also the idea of this website, which is having these videos to make this program easy to implement so it's less on you and you get this program running like clockwork in your own classroom and in your own school very quickly. I hope you're able to see the difference in student responsibility in your own classroom throughout the school year and have fun with this program. You know, be creative with it, find ways to add, subtract, and email us if you have not only questions but maybe suggestions and something you tried out in your classroom that really worked. You know, this is a growing program and I'm excited to hear stuff that you've tried that works for you.